This is PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Travis tested waters, help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Travis tested waters, help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you eat.
Hey guys, it's me, Travis with PlayerProps.ai, and this is what we're looking at for, drumroll please, Saturday's college football games. First off, you didn't think I was going to be dropping an episode today because I've been telling you for the last couple weeks that I'm going on a week vacation that I always do every year before football starts, because that's my prep, my mental prep to get ready for 6 to 7 full months of non-stop football action. But because my flight's not for another handful of hours, or till I don't have to leave to the airport for a handful of hours, I decided to pop another video. And because this is going to be the last video until Wednesday of next week when I return from my week trip, then we might as well focus on the biggest thing in those next 7 days. And it's not MLB today, it's not WNBA today, it's the fact that we are at college football week 0 on Saturday. Now you might be asking yourself, what the heck does week 0 mean? Because you know NFL has week 1 through week 18. So it's kind of like what they've been doing for, I don't even know how long now, is college football has like you know how there's like the kickoff game of NFL season where like that first Thursday, it's just focusing on these few teams or these two teams, and then the real kickoff weekend is on Sunday. Kind of the same thing. They have a few games before everybody starts playing, and that's what's called week 0. So if you see anything that says college football week 0, that's what it means. It's just the kickoff. So there's only like 2 or 3 games. There's not that many games. Not that many teams playing. But if you're asking yourself, wait, does the best #1 ranked sports betting education and research app on planet Earth, does it also have college football? Well, if you weren't here last year, you didn't know, but now you do, and yes, we do. That's what you see on the screen right here. We have college football already locked in, ready to go. So look, yeah, it looks like there's 3 games on Saturday, and we also have our team tools ready as well for the money line spread and total predictor. If you are someone who actually wants to win more money and you have this app on your phone and you are playing with it and you're like, wait, how come I don't see college football in the drop-down menu? Well, look at the date here. You have to, so if you want to find something, whether it's like NFL kickoff day, which, there's still preseason games to play, so those aren't anywhere near up and ready. But if you're wanting to look for college football, you have to make sure the date is a college football date. So right now it is Wednesday, August 20th. College football's on Saturday, August 23rd. So you have to go to this menu and you have to choose August 23rd to be able to populate the college football stuff. DraftKings typically sucks when it comes to offering player props for college football a handful of days before the games actually play. FanDuel's a little bit better. So if you switch this to DraftKings, you're only going to see like 1 to 2 people because it's like 3 or 4 days before. But DraftKings does have a handful more props for Saturday's week 0 games. Something else to pay attention to. This is something that a lot of people aren't understanding, is that just because you have legalized sports betting does not mean you can bet on college player props. And there's a reason for that, and I stressed this throughout the entirety of last year. So there's 12-year-olds. I mean, they're not actually 12. They're probably legally able to bet, but mentally they're 12-year-olds. They are what we call keyboard warriors. They do a player prop on a college player who's 18 years old and they're playing as a true freshman. They missed their receiving yards line by 1 reception or 1 yard or whatever it may be. And then they threaten them and their family via Instagram DMs. So, because there's a lot of stupid people out there who think it's funny to send death threats, or maybe not even do it as a joke, but typically it's done as a joke because what you see is they screenshot it. Look, I just threatened this 18-year-old who just graduated high school. I threatened him and his family because he screwed me over a $10 bet that I could have made $1,000 on. So what happened is, because the stupid people out there that think that's something they're allowed to do, the governments that regulate and enable the fact to grant us the ability to bet on sports, they kept seeing these teenagers getting death threats because those psychopaths out there keep DMing them and threatening them. So because they are the ones that get to determine what we are and are not allowed to do, individual states started banning the ability to bet on college player props, because if you can't bet on them, then you can't threaten them when they miss a receiving yard or rushing prop or a passing prop or whatever it may be. So if you have friends in a group chat and you've seen somebody do this before, make sure you thank them for screwing up your entire state. So if you're seeing this on the screen, you're like, oh, FanDuel has player props, but I think one of them you can't do it in. Maybe it's like, I think Ohio. There's actually a handful of states you can't, because there's a lot of stupid people out there that keep DMing them and they think it's okay, and you screw up the entire industry. But even though FanDuel does have props, which is why we can show them on the screen here, because these are actual FanDuel lines right now, like the 16.5, you may not be able to pull up when you go to the Iowa State and Kansas State game. You won't be able to see player props, and that means you're in a state that has them banned. So if you're like, this sucks, I can't bet on player props for college sports, just make sure everybody knows one of these idiots. There's always one idiot in every group chat. So when you get frustrated that you can't bet on college player props, make sure you thank that person for screwing up stuff. But the best news is that even if you're in a state that has those banned, you can still do the team things as well. And then kind of do a quick preview of the team tools. They work the same as everything else. Money line, spread, total, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at one of each. So I know, let me actually pull it up. So, by the way, if you listened to everything I said yesterday, you made a lot of money because everything we said hit. The two things we focused on was the no run first inning and then the Brown over 5.5 Ks. Both of those hit. So we're back on track on our streak. So there's only one day in August that we didn't profit, and that was Monday. And Mondays are always Mondays. I've been telling you for the last year and a half that if you've bet opposite of what I say on Mondays, you've made more money than lost. But we are back on track here. So what I'm doing on my phone, which I know it's not pulled up on the screen right now, is I'm looking at Wanna Parlay, which is what we've been locking things in, to see if... Okay, so it looks like you can't do future days on Wanna Parlay. I know they're going to have college football stuff to bet on, but it looks like you have to wait till Saturday to be able to lock it in. So I guess we're not going to lock anything on screen, so I don't need to pull up the Wanna Parlay app on screen here. So we're just going to find things that we really like. Okay. So let's try to see if we can find one player prop and one team thing with our college football tools. The one thing you're going to notice which is different than NFL, which is different than MLB. Every sport's different. So it's still football, but what you're going to notice different is that the differences are going to be pretty crazy, even compared to another football league, which is, like NFL, right? You're rarely going to see 137% difference on a receiving yards prop in NFL. It's a mixture of this being the first game that, let's say, for example, Gabe last year had a lot of targets. He was like a featured tight end, and let's say just in theory that they had a transfer tight end come in, and maybe they're like splitting reps, right? So our projection, the AI stuff, is simply based on all the information we have from his collegiate past. This line is based on all the information the sportsbook have on what he's essentially supposed to be doing on Saturday. So it's very important, and this goes for every league, NFL, everything. The first week or two, bet extremely small amounts, because you have to give the sportsbooks the opportunity. Well, you don't have to give the sportsbooks anything, but you have to give essentially the AI the opportunity to catch up to what this new roster looks like, because college rosters change 6 trillion times more than professional rosters. I'm wearing the UCF shirt right now. You can't really see it, UCF basketball shirt. So for UCF, for example, I was looking at a site because I was trying to see who's projected to be the starting quarterback for our first game, right? And I'm looking at it, and the site that I'm looking at, it highlights if that player is a transfer portal player, or if it's somebody that was on the team last season, or if they're just a true freshman. And I'm looking at it, and almost our entire offense, like 90% of UCF's projected starters, offense are all transfer players. So again, that's why we're giving some time for the AI models for the PlayerProps.ai app to essentially recalibrate on what this completely, almost 100% new roster looks like and how it's going to operate. So again, please, if you're going to bet at all, and this goes for the beginning of any league, but definitely college leagues, definitely college football here on Saturday, and then the next Saturday after that for week 1, bet extremely lightly. So you may see this like, oh my gosh, Gabe is 137 percentage difference. But again, this could be related to many more things. This could be based, his projection could be based on the fact that maybe, if, in theory, not saying he has, but in theory, maybe he has a completely different quarterback. Or maybe he has a completely new offensive line where he doesn't need to stay and block that often because the offensive line crushes, so he can go out on routes and run more routes. There's so many things that can change with college football. Bet extremely lightly until we know what the offenses look like. And how do you know what the offenses look like and the defenses look like? You have to watch the games. Or you don't have to watch the games, but we have to have games happen. So I want to stress that. If you're going to bet at all, bet lightly. Ladies and gentlemen, there are people in the world that are going to be a lot richer than what they are just because they went to this website and they entered their name in a free contest to win $5,000 in cash and prizes. There's 3 days left. So the contest ends on Friday, but because I'm going to be on vacation, I'm going to spend Wednesday and Thursday of next week of just like triple checking the points and everything, that all the tickets and stuff. So I think we're going to do a reveal of the winners on, I think on Friday of next week or Saturday of next week. No, I would say probably Friday because Saturday's college football Saturday. So Friday of next week is where we're going to do a whole entire video for who's getting paid how much money and who's getting how much free access. So that video's, yeah, again, we're aiming for Friday of next week is when the video drops, but you only have 3 days to get in there. So even though we're not doing the video till Friday of next week, you don't have till Friday of next week to throw your hat in the ring. So we went over that stuff. And I did mention before on the show, we're going to try to find a player prop, even though I'm telling you and stressing to you that there's a high chance the player prop may or may not, or I would say I'm not going to be putting an insane amount of money on this because teams look very different so often, especially in the last few years with how crazy the transfer portal's gotten. Like I said, my team, like my alma mater, a completely entire new offense. So the default here, I'm trying to remember. So if you have the free version and you haven't upgraded yet for, whatchamacallit, for MLB, I don't know why I brain farted on that. So when you go to this on MLB, you know how you only see total bases and then you have to upgrade to the other stats, which you might as well after how many, like, just, my brain is going on so many different tangents right now. The tangent that my brain just went to, as I'm trying to like explain what I'm showing you on screen, is like the frustration just kicked in again that you guys see how much money the premium members are winning because all you have to do is look at the free channels, the free winning screenshots channels, and you see people like Scott F has won like $20,000 this week already using these tools, $20,000 in profit. And so you see these people winning with the app, and then you're still trying to do things by yourself. You're still trying to do things guessing or maybe just tailing random people on Twitter. But you're seeing that you're in a Discord and you're looking at a channel where everybody that is dropping winning screenshots, 99.99% of people that are winning every single day have a little diamond next to their name that says VIP. So you're seeing that the premium people are winning 99.99% more often than the people that don't have a diamond next to their name in the Discord. Yet, you think it's okay not to have a diamond next to your name. You think you'll be fine guessing and continuing to pay for the yachts and the vacations of the sports books. So that's just that's the tangent that just popped in my head. It's like, wait a second, like, why are there still people? How crazy do you have to be to see something that is as proven as this app and to be like, I rather give up all the money that I've earned to the sports books who don't care about me. So that's where my brain went. But anyway, before that tangent, I was saying that the free stat for MLB, as you can see today, and since we launched last year, the free stat for MLB is total bases. The free stat for NBA or for basketball in general is assists. Yes, assists. So NBA, WNBA, college basketball. The free stat for NHL is, I think it's shots on goal. And then the free stat for football, and this is for college football and for NFL, I believe is receiving yards. So you should be able to see this even if you have the free version of the app. There are essentially, there's not much of a gap. So what you see here is what FanDuel does when they drop college props is they do like minus 114 each side. So they do a little bit more juice on both sides. So if you go over or under, you're going to see the same thing. It's minus 114 both sides because they have no idea what's going on because they don't have great intel on who's going to do what. So they're like, well, we might as well make it so no matter which side of the line they go on, we get the same amount of money regardless. We don't have to pay out like a plus 120. We'll just make minus 114 everything. But yeah, we do have historical data here for college sports. This tight end guy here is popping up. He has a line of 16.5. His projection is 39.11. His projection is 39.11 because, as you see here, this guy was getting receiving yards a lot in these last handful of games last season. He's versing Kansas State, and the last time he versed Kansas State in the last day of November last year, he only got 15. So he's 0% head-to-head. I don't know. He doesn't have any line movement changes. So I think what I want to do here is hold on, let me get rid of that. What I just told you, I just said that there's so many things that could be different with the rosters. So the website that I was referencing that I go to see the depth charts, to see like how much stuff is different, like with my UCF team, it's ourlads.com. And so that's what I use to see like, okay, how many people, like how different do the rosters look? Who's all coming in from the transfer portal? Who's a true freshman that's planning to start? Because I'm actually in the middle of a college fantasy draft, and we're like 20 rounds in, and I'm like, I don't even know who's who on the who I'm available to draft anyway. So let's look at, so this is the Big 12. So I know I'm not pulling this up on screen right now, but I just want to make sure that he's still the featured tight end. So I'm in the Big 12. We're looking at Iowa State depth chart. Tight end. Oh, so he's actually listed as the number 2 guy. So that's exactly what I was telling you, is that all this information, this projection is essentially based on the fact that he was the number 1 tight end. I don't know if he was the number 1 tight end, but it looks like he might have been. But it looks like there's a tight end. I don't know if they have a 2 tight end set. I don't know much about Iowa State. There's like 6 million college football teams. But it lists Brahmer as the first string tight end, and it lists this Burkle guy as the second. So let's look at the next one. Now we're looking at Kansas State. Another tight end. These are all tight ends. I don't know why FanDuel decided to do a tight end, like releasing tight ends early. What's good with this guy is looking at the website that I'm referencing. He is listed as, and this is a website that updates throughout like spring camp and then like practices and stuff and all the news. And so this website updated 2 days ago, and it says that Garrett Oakley, which is this guy, is currently listed as a redshirt junior, as a starting person in an offense, and it even says what type of offense they have. I like this site a lot. Like I said, it's ourlads.com. Actually, let me see if I can pull it up on screen here so I can show you what it looks like. Let me pull this. Hold on. No, I clicked the wrong thing. It's all gone. It's all gone. Let me get rid of this stupid ad stuff. Okay, so this is what I was looking at. So It says up here in the top left, 8:18 is when it was updated. It says what kind of offense they have. So if they have if it says like a triple option offense, like what Navy normally runs, then you don't want to do anything passing wise because that means they very rarely pass the ball. Spread, of course, means they pass the ball enough. And we go down here, as I mentioned, and it shows Garrett Oakley as player 1. You want player 1 for the tight end spot right here. So that's essentially what I'm referencing. I'm going to get rid of this. This site has so many ads. Anywho, so that's what I'm talking about. So the other guy's listed as number 2. This guy's listed number 1. The 100% hit rate. Where was this game? Okay, so here, Iowa State. So these two tight ends versed each other last year because they're in the Big 12, right? And so they versed each other. The other tight end did not hit his current line. This tight end went for 78 yards against this exact same team, but not the exact same defense because, again, college football changes so often. But he's pretty consistent on getting like 17 plus yards, 16 plus yards, except for this Kansas game, he only had 2. And the last 4 games, I mean, he hit this line 29, 23, 78, and then 16 against Rutgers. And then our AI is not saying he's going to do anything crazy. He's just going to go, we're not betting on him to get 35 yards. We're just betting on him to get 21 or 22 yards. So if this is something we're going to be targeting for Saturday, right? Let's go to comparison. And let's see if we can find him. I might have to change the date again. Yeah, this is today's date. So let's see what we have. Let's see if I believe this tool's up. Doesn't really have too much stuff. Yeah, so pretty much FanDuel's like the only app that has, well, for him anyway, only app that has stuff for him. And it looks like every other site is borrowing from every other site. What I mean by that is that the lines for these players, for all of these games, seem to be exactly the same on every source. Okay, so that's the first one we're going to be looking at. Now let's look at some team stuff here. Let me see. 7.9, 7.52. We'll be looking for this in a second. So if you don't know how to use these tools, by the way, which a lot of you haven't done the bare minimum, the free stuff, there's a chat support bot we have on the site that we added like a couple months ago, and the amount of people that say like, how do I use the money line predictor, or what am I supposed to be looking for? Guys, this is not here for my benefit. This is here for your benefit. Tap to learn how to use the money line predictor. This is a button. If you aren't tapping this button, which maybe we have to change what it looks like because it's not registering that this is a button, I guess. I don't know. You let me know in the comments. But every tool, we have 10 tools you can choose from. Every tool has a button. You click this button and you quickly learn how to use the tool that you're looking at. Do not guess on what you're looking at here. You don't have to. It's not complicated. Click the button. Oh, okay, that's what I'm looking for. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay. So there's only one out of these. So there are actually 4 games. There's only 3 games that are offering player props right now, but there's 4 games total on Saturday. I know Fresno State. So UCF had a quarterback that transferred to Fresno State, and now he transferred to Michigan, but he not as the starter. Long story short, I know for a fact that Fresno State has a different starting QB, and so I wouldn't touch this anyway because it's a negative difference. But yeah, so this is not only the positive difference, but it's actually saying that even though Hawaii's favored, that Stanford at plus 110 should upset Hawaii. So let's look at the spread real quick. So it's only a 2.5 point spread for that game. See if there's anything crazy with the total here. So the highest difference right here is the Fresno State-Kansas game. The line is crazy high. Like this is what we love about college football. We love points, and college football games put up points. They're saying the line's going to be over under 50.5, and RAI saying it's probably going to be at least 51 because the projection's at 54.27. But also, even though there's not a whole lot of games that are tracked by AI, 7 for Kansas and 3 games that involve Fresno State, what we do see is that 66.7%. So 2 out of the 3 games that involve Fresno State, where we had a projection for a game they had, whether it was over or under the line, it only missed 1. And then here, it essentially, out of 7 games, it's saying, what is 71%? Like what, 5 out of 6? 5 out of 7, I believe. So 7 games, and only got 2 of them wrong. So this is actually interesting. So we don't really pay attention anymore to accuracies for the team tools for the for MLB because our cheat sheets are the determining factor. With football, we still pay attention to them. They're very important. If we go back to the money line, there's only 1 game that we from last season where we had a projection for Hawaii game, and we got that game 100% right. Now, that doesn't mean that Hawaii won all of those games. This, again, if you haven't clicked this button yet, it goes over accuracy. We are saying that in the games Hawaii played, the AI got it correct. So in this example, if Stanford wins this game, which is what the AI is saying, even though this is under Hawaii, this will be 100% too, because in a game that involved Hawaii, the AI got it right. Oh, here's another feature. So again, if you're not in the Discord, you are an insane person that should not be betting on sports, because that's where we tell you about the new features, all the new stuff we added to the app. So you already know we have a favorites thing here where you can click these stars and it'll add to your favorites list. But something we've done is we added these stars. This was something we added yesterday. So when you add something to your favorite list and you click the star to see your favorite list, it'll tell you how many other people have that on their favorite list on PlayerProps.ai. So out of our thousands and thousands and thousands of users, it'll say this is how many people have added that to their PlayerProps.ai favorite list. So we cleared it, put it up here. I can only assume that nobody has skipped ahead to add this to their favorite list yet. But right now, I'm the first person to add Stanford and Hawaii to my favorite list. So that's exactly what those stars mean. If you're close to like a game starting and you see a prop or a team bet or whatever that you add to your favorite list and there's only a number 1 next to it and like it's like 30 minutes away from the game, screenshot it, drop that in the VIP channels in Discord and kind of see, hey, am I looking at this right? Why has no one else added this to their favorite list? But when you add something and you see like 10 stars, or it'll have the number 10 and with a star, okay, so other people are on this as well, so I am using the tool correctly. So it's just a reinforcement. But I don't know if I want to go with an upset pick in the first game. And it's, so also the upset pick, so even though it's a 7.9% difference here, you have to also look at the fact that Stanford is only a 51% favorite. So this is still a toss-up. Like if this was like 69, 70, like I'm like, all right, yeah, they definitely probably are going to win this game. But it's literally saying Stanford 51, Hawaii 49. But difference of the total here is it's saying the total is going to be 50.5, even though I know they have a new quarterback. We don't have any roster details yet. 50.5. And this should be a high-scoring game. It should get to like 51 at least. 3.71 difference, 2.96 difference. I think out of everything, we're probably going to lean this total more than anything. So now that we have another bet we want to do, what do? You want to see where you can get the most bang for your buck. So we're going to fast forward again to Saturday. We're going to switch to total. And now we're going to see. Oh, it looks like there's another game here. So yeah, it looks like there's even more games. So here we see, this is the game we're looking at, right? We see that these 3 are highlighted because A, they have the exact same line, and B, they have the exact same payout. So it looks like everybody across the board has a 50.5, but it would be dumb to bet on FanDuel and DraftKings because the odds for the over is -114, -112. And if you bet that on these 3, which is why they're highlighted, you would get more money if you get it right. So I think that's what we're looking at here. We're looking at over 50.5 Fresno State and Kansas, 6:30 p.m. Saturday. And then we're looking for that the player prop of that tight end we were talking about before. And I don't want to say his name right now because there's a lot of people that fast forwarded to this point, and screw you guys for not listening to how to use my app and just trying to get spoon-fed plays. Go back and watch the show, gosh dang it. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. I will see you guys after this week vacation. And if you're curious, it's going to be up in Canada. Much better temperature than here in Florida. Granted, it's not too hot right now because there's a hurricane due east of us, but not close enough to cause any damage when you're in Central Florida. Good luck. Any questions at all, let me know in the Discord. I'll definitely still be active in there throughout this entire vacation because I can't leave you guys by yourself. Teacher Travis has to make sure that nobody's making silly bankroll decisions. Take care of each other. Good luck today and this weekend. And I'll see you guys after my trip. Good luck.